Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're taking a quick look at the Stutter Edit 2 device from iZotope. This is absolutely insane, and in this video I'm going to get you started. I do plan on doing other videos, and they should be out in the next couple of days, but this one I just want to give you an overview on the stutter parameter and the buffer, just so you can get in and get started right away once you get it. Links in the video descriptions for more details as always, but let's go ahead and jump into this. So this is Stutter Edit 2 on the screen right here, and I'm going to talk to you about Stutter. I'm not going to go through everything it has to offer, but I am going to show you how to get up and running and give you a general overview of the concepts of Stutter. So when I turn Stutter on, I have a rate control right here. And as soon as I turn it on, in fact, pay attention to this black bar. You'll see that I have 4 sections here. Now this is kind of telling me visually, or it is exactly telling me visually, that I'm gonna get a repeated pattern on quarter notes essentially. So this is a bar, and the length can be set right here. If I change this to 2 bars, you can see here now I have 8. So let's go back to a bar. Boom, so I'm gonna get a stutter over a quarter note. And right now this parameter is locked. If I unlock it, I can have a value. I can set values, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but I want to lock it down for 1 minute here. If I take this and move it over, you can see that instead of quarter notes, it's going to repeat at 1/8 notes. And there it's 16th notes. So if you want a steady parameter without any automation, just go ahead and lock it down. And that's going to work the same with anything else that has the ability to be automated in that way with this graph. If you lock it down, you're going to get one single parameter, one single value. Let's go ahead and unlock it. And this is where the fun really starts. If I take this and go all the way over, and then this all the way over, what's happening here is it's going to start off at a quarter note and go up to a 1/512th note. Let's see what that sounds like. Very, very cool. So another thing is you notice that I held the note a little bit longer than a bar, and it started to go back in reverse. If you want it just to go through and then come back to the beginning, you have to turn off palindrome over here. Palindrome will mean that it'll go up and then go back. And if it's off, it will go up and then cycle back to the beginning and go up again. Very, very cool stuff. We have the ability to adjust not only these values right here. This is kind of like a quick adjust. You can see here, but I can actually say what's the highest and lowest values by coming in here and clicking some of the options in here. So if I want to say, I want to go a little bit longer than a quarter note, I've got a quarter note here, it's already on, but maybe I want to go, longer, a half note, or maybe I don't want a quarter note. I want just an 1/8 note. So now I have an 1/8 note is the lowest value I can go to. And anything that we activate will become available as a grid that we can snap to. So if I want to come up to 1/52nd from an 1/8 note, that's how I do it. And anytime I make some changes here, so now it's an 1/8 to a 1/52nd. If I come over here, you'll see that's reflected there, so I can make my quick adjustments. And by the way, if I want to flip it, I just got to take that and move it over to the left. And you can also do that right inside of this kind of quick select graph over here as well. And any parameter that is automatable in this way will have a quick selection graph, we'll have the lock feature, and we'll be able to reverse it or make quick selections with the slider below that. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to come back in here. And now you'll notice over here that not only do I have these time parameters that I can activate, and by the way, we have dotted and triplet options as well. We also have a keyboard over here. So what's that about? What this is all about is if you repeat something fast enough, you'll actually get a discernible pitch. So if I click this right here, you'll see that I have D2 right now. If I bring this up and then bring this up and then trigger my effect or my gesture here, I'm going to get a D2 pitch. So that's a D2 in the scale, okay? And not only can I do that, but I can actually, morph between two. If I want to go from a D2 to a C3, That's how that's done. So that's what that's about. It works the same way with your time signatures. It's just if you're looking for a specific pitch for whatever work you're doing. Okay, here we also have free values where we're going to get rid of the linking. It can just go wherever it wants. You know, think synced versus free of any other plugin you have. We have the grid resolution, speed. We can save, load, reverse this, boom, boom, or reset everything. And then we also have a number of preset curves for this particular stutter edit rate. Okay, so let's talk about quantization. Right now, quantization is off, and I want you to hear how the transition happens from one speed to the other. So we're going to be going from 1/8 to 1/512th. Listen to the transition in between those two values. It's pretty smooth. If I turn quantization off and use the closest mode, listen to what happens. You can hear that it's stepping. It's not a smooth transition between one time value to the next, and that's because we're using quantization. Now, there are a number of different modes in here to use. I'm actually going to leave this in the step parameter for a different video, but just know that it's there. Go ahead and turn that off. There's also a gate over here. I'm going to come in and let's just go ahead and ramp it up. So the gate has a value of between 0 and 1. And what the gate is how quickly the slice of audio will play. So in fact, let me come over here and bring down this. This is what it sounds like without the gate. So it's really filling up the entire space of audio there with audio that's been sampled and repeated. If I turn the gate on, and let's lock down the width just so we can really understand what's happening here, and turn it all the way down to 0, watch how quick of a snippet we get. It's actually so quick that you don't even know what's been sampled there. And we can go anywhere in between. Okay, so that one sounds pretty cool. We can hear a kick, but maybe we're not getting a big enough tail. So you can look at a tail kind of like a release here. If I turn the tail up about halfway, you can hear that it's like a release for the sampled bit that's being repeated with the gate on. Now, of course, we can change the gate over time. So perhaps, we want the gate to be quite open in the beginning, but then when it gets closer to over here, really close it up. Let's see what that sounds like. And if we really want that to be noticeable, again, let's just pull down the tail all the way. Okay, so we can really transform how that sounds. Again, I'm going to turn that off, and let's come over here to the buffer. So right now, if I use this stutter, it's going to be sampling the same piece of audio and repeating it over whatever we have set out inside of the stutter parameter. If I turn on the buffer, we're actually going to get different pieces of audio from different parts of time of the sample that's being fed into the buffer. So for now, let me come into the grid. Let's turn it to a quarter and let's turn it onto the grid so we can use it. And let's listen to what it sounds like now. In fact, let me turn off the buffer and just listen to this pattern with just the stutter. So essentially, we're just getting that kick, but as soon as I enable the buffer with the movement on the grid on a quarter note, boom, we're getting different slices of that audio to be triggered over the pattern that we set out for the stutter. And one thing that's really cool about this buffer is we can actually change the left and the right and get some really interesting results. For example, something like this is going to be something really crazy. Not only that, but this right here will actually reverse that part of the sample in the buffer. Very, very cool. Let's go ahead and turn that off and go ahead and open that up and link it back together. So that being said, just using the stutter and buffer parameters inside of Stutter Edit 2 are going to deliver insane results. Never mind all of these incredible effects that you have full control over as well. And we're going to get into that in a later video. But before I wrap up here, I just want to talk quickly about the pan parameter. So let's just move over to panning and cover this real quick. So we have a stereo width control, and that sounds something like this. So you can spec down here towards the bottom, it's going to be, stereo, regular stereo audio. And then up at the top, it's going to start to push things out to the left and the right. So very straightforward, very, very cool. There's also a panning control over here. So that's the left. That's the right, and if we unlock it, we can actually sweep from the left to the right, or we can start in the center, then sweep to the left, then sweep to the right, and then maybe go back to center. And we have control over this slope, obviously. So again, very simple to use once you understand how to use the different automation features inside of Stutter Edit 2. It's all built the same way. So hopefully that's enough to get you in and get started. But I am going to do some other videos where we do some specific things like sweeps and fills and builds and so on. So that's all for this video. I hope that's enough to get you started with Stutter Edit 2. It's an incredible device, one of my favorites to come out so far this year. I'm Joshua Casper here for Plugin Boutique. Links in the video description as always if you want to check anything out. And I'll see you in the next video.